Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Saturday episode of the Degenerate Disseminators podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, and we are back again with a little bit of another wacky episode. Um, as we move into the official start of the NHL and NBA playoffs, as the NBA plan is over, um, we got some more kind of like longer term bets. We do have some series bets for the NHL. Unfortunately, no more futures bets to add just yet. I think we're fine where we are right now. We're definitely going to be hedging into the future as these tournaments go on. But really quick before we dive into those guys, our last two, little short term plays here. Um, I did make a post official or a play official on Instagram today at DD Sports Podcasts. If you're not following us, please do. The link is down below as well, and same thing on TikTok as well. But I made a little two-leg parlay for the two playing games today. Heat +5 and Grizzlies moneyline parlay. It was at +105. I put 1 unit on it, which I specified on that post. That comes through. Very happy to say that I went. Can I do math here? I went 5-1 in the playing games. So did I do that math right? Yeah, because there was four. Yeah, 5-1 on playing picks. So super profitable. Hopefully that same story goes for the NBA playoffs, which I think it will. Um, and the only other play we had was Corey Connors to win the RBC Heritage Tournament. Had another pretty you know bad day. He still won under par, but I think he's too far behind. Not really sure we are gonna have a next episode, so I am gonna speak it into existence. Unfortunately, guys, I think we lost this one, but it was a little half unit fun played. Get 11 units back. Who knows? Maybe he has a great day tomorrow and shoots like a 62, and we'll be back in the race. But I'm calling this a loss tentatively. So our last two picks have gone 1-1. Still up though, 0.55 units. Yeah. So we're gonna move into our new NHL series bets. Um, like I said, looking more long term. I highly suggest you guys do the same. Betting game by game in the playoffs is a very risky tactic. Things can change in an instant, and trends kind of seem to get all over the place, which is why I'm playing it how we are. But yeah, let's dive right into it, guys. First up, actually, sorry, before we start, I'm not gonna go too in depth with the breakdowns of each of these plays. If you guys want a more in-depth look, I would highly recommend checking out our last episode with Daniel. He gave us an awesome breakdown of the NBA playoff. Whoa, I almost said NFL and then I said NBA. The NHL playoffs. Sorry. And definitely went more in depth into those details. Don't want to sound redundant and bore you guys here. Just kind of hopped on here to give you guys some picks and talked about the future of the show. But yeah, so check that video out for sure. I will try my best to remember to leave that link down below. But anyways, first up we're looking at Oilers versus Kings matchup. We are taking the Oilers to win this series. Keep it short, just the playoff history. We have to go Edmonton here, although the Kings had a better regular season overall. But I do think the Oilers just know how to beat the Kings in the playoffs, as we've seen time and time again. That line is sitting at -135, so we were taking that for 1.35 units to win 1 unit back. And like I've said before, with these longer term plays, if you guys want to go ahead and put more money down because your money's tied up, go for it. We did do some big 3 unit plays for the NBA, so I'm trying to keep it, our usual win a unit back strategy here with these NHL series. Moving into the next series, we are taking the Hurricanes -1.5 series handicap. So they have to win the series by at least 2 games. So 4-2, 4-1, 4-0. Those all cash. Also keeping this one short, Jack Hughes is out for the season due to a shoulder surgery. Don't think the Devils are going to have what it takes to keep up with this really hot Hurricanes team. So pretty easy decision for me there. I believe I wrote the wrong odds down for this one. Let me just double check that. 1 second, guys. Okay. So this one I'm pretty confident in, and I think it's really good value here as it is only at -115. So for this one, obviously we're not going as big as 3 units on this play, but I do want to win 2 units back. So we were putting 2.3 units down on Carolina Hurricanes -1.5 series handicap for this one. And the next play, we're also doing Maple Leafs -1.5 series handicap as they take on the Senators. First playoff appearance in 7 years, I believe, which we also stated in our playoff breakdown. And And I do think that this line is what it's at right now. It's actually at plus money, plus 115. You know, not too crazy, but you know, I was surprised to see it being plus money. I do think this is just due to the Maple Leafs' history in the first round of the playoffs. You know, suffered a heartbreaking loss to Boston last year in that series. I think they, you know, look to make a statement and make it out of the first round. And, you know, a relatively playoff experience lacking Senators team is the perfect team to do it against. And I think they get them out of there quickly. So we are also running the minus 1.5 for the Maple Leafs for 1 unit to win 1.15 back, as it is at plus 115. Next up, we are looking at the Golden Knights to win their series. This one is pretty juicy. This is the, you know, the highest highest amount of juice so far in these picks. It's minus 220. This is kind of more just like a fallback, you know, if a lot of these other ones go, you know, go down the drain, just to get something back in return. Yeah, I just don't think, you know, Minnesota had an okay season, but you know, the Golden Knights have been a force to be reckoned with in the past few playoffs. And I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with again. And I think they make easy work of the Wild. But yeah, I'm not too confident in the series handicap bet, so we are just going to take them to win the series outright for 2.2 units as it sits at minus 220. And which is the next one here. Next up, we're looking at the Capitals minus 1.5. Kind of the same kind of story here as the Canadians. You know, they just have much more experience. Obviously, a much more successful regular season. Well, yes, that doesn't entirely translate to the playoff setting. You know, obviously, very different type of hockey being played in the playoffs. I just think the Capitals make easy work of the Canadians, and I did say this in our video. I really do think, unfortunately, any of those teams that snagged that second wild card spot, because it was a pretty close race, would all have also faced the same fate against Washington. So next up, or for this pick, sorry, Capitals minus 1.5 series handicap for 1.45 units as it sits at minus 145. And then to wrap things up, we are looking at the Winnipeg versus the St. Louis Blues series. Kind of similar. Actually, no, I lied. Sorry. If you guys want to take Winnipeg minus 1.5, go ahead. You know, obviously had a great regular season. The only thing that's kind of preventing me from doing that is, you know, the St. Louis Blues were the hottest team in the NHL to close out the season. I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers in front of me of how good their run was, but you know, they did. I know they did have like a crazy win streak in the double digits near the end of the season to earn themselves that spot. But I do think Winnipeg gets it done here. Very strong roster. And yeah, so for that one, it is minus 210. So we're putting 2.1 units on that. Now you guys are probably wondering, you did 6 of the game. There are 6 of the series. There's 2 that you're missing. What's going on here? For the Florida Tampa series, I don't know. I'm just trying to avoid any bias. You know, we do have a ticket for, you know, a futures bet for the Panthers to win the cup this year, which is still entirely possible, but I do think the Lightning pose the greatest threat. And you know, yes, we are getting some key players back. But you know, they have been out for a considerable amount of time, so you know, it's not always like a seamless transition when these players come back. You know, we might have some problems, and you know, Florida might find themselves in a hole here. So I'm choosing to avoid that series now. I might add it later. Who knows? But keep an eye out for that. And the other series I'm not taking at the moment is the Avs versus the Stars. Jason Robertson is still week to week with his injury. I looked around for a few, you know, through a few different sources. It's looking like right now, based on what I was reading, is that his earliest potential return is going to be Game 4. It kind of really just depends how the first 3 games go up, you know, up until that point. You know, if the Stars are down 3-0 to the Avalanche, which I really don't think happens. But, you know, I just really don't want to be in that situation. And you know, if he comes back, they have to, you know, win 4 in a row. If you guys want to take Dallas plus 1.5 for the series handicap, really don't mind. But you know, I'm choosing to play it safe. They are missing their top goal scorer. While they do have a very deep roster, it's just not something I, you know, really want to risk for a playoff series bet. So that is going to do it for right now. Like I said, we might add some more plays. I'm just going to recap really quick. Going to breeze through this. Oilers to win for 1.35 units. Hurricanes -1.5 series handicap for 2.3. Maple Leafs 1.5 for 1 unit, as that is our only plus money bet at +115. Golden Knights to win for 2.2 units. Capitals -1.5 series handicap for 1.45, and Winnipeg to win their series for 2.1 units. Yeah. While I'm here, guys, I'm just gonna recap our. Actually, I'm gonna give the futures as well, really quick. For right now, we have Panthers for 1.5 units, as they have the highest odds right now. Stars for 1 unit, which kind of scares me with that Jason Robertson injury, but we'll see what happens. And Oilers for 1 unit. And while we're going over our futures bets, I'm also gonna recap the NBA picks really quick. I'll explain why I'm going over all of these at once in a second. For the futures bets, we have the Lakers for 0.5 units and the Cavaliers for 1 unit. Obviously, we're gonna hedge this as much as we can to ensure profit, which I think is very doable. And then for the series bets for the NBA, Pistons +2.5 for 1.45 units series handicap. And over 5.5 games for both the Bucks Pacers series and the Rockets Warriors series. Both of those are 3 unit bets for the Bucks Pacers series. That gets us a profit of 1.75, and for the Warriors series, that would give us 1.5 units back. The reason why I'm going all over this at once, we're gonna start slowing down with the podcast. Don't be scared, guys. We will definitely be back in full swing once these seasons start back up again. Especially football, college football will definitely be back and active. Like I said, we're not really the type of people to be betting on every single playoff game because they are pretty unpredictable. These sports change drastically once it hits playoff time. So we're kind of just playing it relatively safe. We've had a pretty solid month, and we're just kind of rolling over our profit from this month into some futures bets and some longer term plays. So yeah, instead of having episodes like 5 to 7 times a week, we're probably gonna be closer to like that once a week mark, unfortunately. But obviously we will check up on these series. We'll definitely do like a round 2 preview as the playoffs go on and things like that. But yeah, kind of want to switch our focus into like growing the show. Daniel and I are approaching almost 100 episodes done, and we primarily do this for fun. We're not really too worried about the views and stuff, but we do put in a lot of time into these episodes, and we're kind of not really where we want to be at from a viewership standpoint. So kind of let these things run their course, and we're gonna start putting out a lot of stuff on Instagram and TikTok. So if you guys aren't following us there, once again, please do so. And that is gonna do it for me today, guys. Good luck with your playoff bets. Not really sure when we will be back, but if I do make any more plays official, they will be on our socials. And that's gonna do it for me, guys. We'll see you in the next one.